Congressman Cuellar, welcome to the program. We appreciate you being here. I want to start with something you tweeted the other day. You said that our country is not prepared to handle a surge in migrants in the middle of this pandemic. And you urged the Biden administration to listen and work with border communities in Texas, like any administration should do. But you mentioned the other day in another interview that you have called the White House. You've reached out to Homeland Security. You have left messages and haven't heard back. Why are they listening to people who know the border?
I have no idea. Look, it's something that they were down there in the valley just this last weekend, and they didn't contact Congressman Vela, Congressman Gonzalez, or myself, which is very interesting. The people that are at the border should be listened to, from mayors, NGOs, Border Patrol agents that are doing this job every day. Those are the folks they ought to be listening to.
Congressman, what's causing this latest surge in migrants?
You've seen the numbers. In February, we had 100,000 people encounters. Keep in mind, that's encounters. That doesn't count 10% or maybe even more of people that are getaways. That is, the people that were not able to encounter. So the numbers are higher than the actual numbers. I can tell you that for a fact. And the other thing that we got to keep in mind is that the month of March, April, May, and June are the high peaks. Traditionally, that's way. So if we saw high numbers in February, I can tell you the numbers in March, April, May, June, May are going to be much higher.
Well, it seems like this could really spin up pretty fast into a full-blown crisis for the administration. Is President Biden taking this seriously enough, in your opinion?
President Biden gets it, but he's got other folks that work under him. And we've been offering our help to these folks. Some of us, we saw this in 2014 under President Obama. We saw this in 2019 under President Trump. So this is nothing new, except the only thing different, as you know, is the pandemic.
Congressman, Governor Abbott says he's going to deploy 500 National Guard troops down to the border. Is that politics and the governor playing to the right, or is this can this surge overwhelm the Border Patrol agents that are down there right now?
Look, and I understand what the governor's doing, but we got to look at reality. DPS, they'll go down there. They'll spend about $800 million a year on DPS. They have no immigration authority. The National Guard that they're sending down there, adding to the ones we have there already, have no immigration power. By the way, that's paid by the federal government. So they got no immigration power. Now, when they're down there, of course, I welcome them, because I used to do the budget for DPS when I was at the state. My brother was a DPS officer, so they're good people. The National Guard, I support them. But it's more than just sending folks down there. Either we play defense on the 1-yard line called the U.S.-Mexico border, or we play defense on their 20-yard line. And everybody wants to play defense on the 1-yard line. And that just, as you can see, is just not working.
I'm hearing about stories from the border in which Border Patrol agents are not being vaccinated against the coronavirus. How in the world is that the case?
Absolutely. When the first vaccines came out under the Trump administration, I called the former CBP commissioner. I said, hey, do we have vaccines for our Border Patrol agents? Because the unions are calling me up and they say no. He basically said, no, we don't. I've been asking for this since October, November of last year. More Border Patrol have got their vaccines, but I think they should have been one of the first ones to have been vaccinated as been at the border.
Congressman Cuellar, we appreciate the time.
Thank you. Have a good one.